Satellite Reign is a real-time strategy game set to emerge from the electric egg of early access tomorrow. But today I want to tell you why I love it. And it's not just because it's very good and full of details and cyberpunk things like electric trees and lovely stealth, and it's very yellow. If you like yellow things, you're in for a treat, though you can change the yellow to be something else. Oh, look at that. Ooh. Satellite Reign is a reimagining of a 1993 game called Syndicate. Stick with me. This is interesting because we've never really seen the like of Syndicate since, especially not in Starbreeze's 2012 FPS of the same name. Don't need to remember that game, it didn't exist. So in Syndicate, you were controlling 4 super cyborgs as they engaged in warfare against corporations, and you can kind of think of it like a real-time XCOM, which came out the very next year. And just as XCOM got a swank reimagining, Satellite Reign is a kind of reinterpretation of Syndicate's mechanics, but in a huge, open, rainy world. Though this time we're playing the good guys, kind of. In your quest to undermine Satellite Reign's fascist Dracogenics corporation who are gonna let rich people pay to live forever, your team of cheeky rebels will be borrowing innocent people's money, possessions, identities, and genetic material. There's no button to say sorry when you hijack someone's brain chip and send them jogging off to your base so your scientists can repurpose their body into one of your super soldiers. But if there was a button to say sorry, I definitely would have pressed it, and I'd have been very polite about the whole thing. Here's what you actually buy Satellite Reign for, right? The whole game is a series of places for you to break into, and more importantly, break back out of. It's this right here. You're outside a compound and you come up with a plan and you're waiting in the rain and the neon, and then you break in and it's exciting, and then you get out, all with the thrill of one of Grand Theft Auto's scripted robberies, except you're planning the heist yourself, followed by a wonderfully improbable getaway where your team of 4 heavily armed cyber murderers dressed in all black melt into the crowded city streets. So Satellite Reign is entertaining. There's lots in its mean streets and skill trees to play with, so many weird prototypes to find, and so very many scientists to kidnap and brainwash and set to work back in your labs. None of which are the reason that I love it, right? I love it because it's this literally and figuratively slick world with all the rain and the neon that I said before, and the game says, what about doing this mission? And you go, oh wow, yeah, I'll do that mission. And then you it. You completely the bed, because Satellite Reign isn't just a game about being cool, it's a game about keeping your cool. Here's the thing, Satellite Reign is such an interesting RTS, which is to say, a game about making tough decisions very quickly, because it's not just a case of how you're going to best use your units. It's a case of what you want to do with them, because your objective always changes by degrees. You don't want to get your agents killed, but if you do, then you can keep going. You don't want to trigger the alarm, but if you do, you can keep going and trigger more and more alarms. You desperately want to get your hacker into that building, but maybe you can get someone else in. You won't get the whole reward, but you'll still get something. The story I've been telling people to sell them on Satellite Reign was when I was infiltrating a compound and there was a zip line at the back. Amazing. And I saw a path through all the security and I went, I'll send my hacker in. I only need to send the hacker in. And the hacker took the zip line and he fell off the zip line because he wasn't good at zip lines. And then he fell in the middle of a courtyard with loads of guards. And I only had a split second to think about what to do. So I told my whole team to go in after them. And then half of them fell off the zip line and half of them were fighting guards and half of them were in like a bin somewhere at the back of the compound, and I'd made such a mess. And then I was looking at these units under attack and I didn't know what to do with them then. I've never felt more sorry for a unit in an RTS ever. Alright, Agent, keep going forward, I guess? Yeah, forward. No, whoa, don't go forward. There's dogs there, like cyber dogs. Yeah, they'll kill you. Go back. Oh, no, don't go back. There's loads of guards investigating that person. I told you to shoot. Probably go forward. You might not die. The whole game is full of moments like this. You're escaping a base with a prototype and then the agent carrying it gets shot, and do you go back for him? Do you go back for the prototype? Or you trigger an alarm really early in an infiltration? Do you press on and assume you can salvage it, or do you leave and try again in a bit? In other words, Satellite Reign distinguishes itself by not just having you solve problems against the clock, but by deciding what you want against the clock. And that's something it has in common with another great game that came out of early access, Invisible Ink. Both of these games are ones where you don't just look at a guard and say, how do I take this man down, but do I need to, or even do I want to? Something made even better by Satellite Rain's open world, where totally manageable robberies are put side by side with incredible death trap facilities that you don't want to break into, and the game teases you to identify which is which. So Satellite Rain might appeal because it looks just so damn cool. But it'll hook you because the decisions you're making are so tacky. You get to decide what mission to attempt. You get to decide where to break in. You get to come up with a plan and action it, and then you get to make brand new mistakes you've never made before. Then you have to come up with a new plan on the fly to fix the old plan. You get shot at, and you get to make life and death decisions in those moments, and there will be death, which means going back to the skill tree, which means getting to decide what mission to try to get the XP that you want. Oh, never mind the neon or the long black coats. This endless chain of having freedom and facing consequences, this cerebral chewing gum, that's a cool game. Oh, you know what's downright spooky about that video? It was good, and there weren't any adverts at all. If you like that kind of thing, hit like and subscribe and head to coolghosts.net to join the conversation. And if you really like that kind of thing and want to help out, please think about joining the Cool Ghosts Patreon.